Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's JP's first son.
Yes.
Well, we have another great show for you tonight. So, boys, let's get it started. We're going to start with the Boston Red Sox. I don't know, this breaking news from the Grandstanders Live desk. Rafael Devers, that fat fuck, has been traded away to the San Francisco Giants. Look, we talked about it. Grandstanders Live is always cutting edge. And we'll start with Timmy. We talked about this last week, the pathway to trade Rafael Devers. We've been negative on him all for a couple years now. Timmy, are you sad to see him go?
I mean, his bat. I'm sad to see his bat go. I'm not sad to see him go, though. I mean, he's a good hitter. There's no denying it. He's a real professional hitter, but he was not a team-oriented guy at all. And I root for team-oriented guys. I couldn't root for a guy like him. I really didn't like him. I didn't like him being on the team. You know what's shocking, Scott? He goes to this other team and says, "I'll play anywhere you want." What a fucking asshole! I mean,
oh my
good
God.
riddance. See you later. Go gain 25 pounds a year and be sucking off of that tit out there in San Diego for the next 10 years, whatever you're doing.
Exactly. Joe, when we were at that game on Saturday night, we were watching him flail at balls, non-competitive up at bats. Each year we sit on that third base side and we see his ass grow bigger and bigger. And in September, if you remember, it was late in August last year. You and I were at a game, and we said he has checked out, and I think he may have gotten one RBI the rest of the season. This guy was sent out the door. Was this guy sent out the door, Joe, because he's a dog?
No, I think it's because he was like, to Tim's point, he was a bad teammate. No one on the team liked him. No one has said a word in support of him after he left. Not one player has said one thing. The best reaction I thought was Jaron Duran. Did you see the interview he did with Bradford?
Go ahead.
He says, when we were getting on the plane, they took Rafi off. They told Rafi he couldn't get on. And we all knew what was happening. And so it was either Pete Ames or Bradford, I forget which, then says, "Well, then what'd you think about that?" He says, "Oh, I don't know. I took a nap on the plane for the rest of the ride. I didn't think about it at all."
All right, let's look at
They were waiting for it. The players knew it was coming.
They did.
His tenure in Boston, is it about the same as Marchand was? Was it Marchand 12 years here? How long is Devers?
No, I think it was 9 years, right?
9 years.
Okay, yeah. Like a good length of time. Though Marchand's got 3 years on.
Yeah.
I mean, we want to name a street after Marchand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Devers. See you later.
So Devers wasn't the reason they won in 2018.
No. What I'm saying, Scotty, is that's how little the people of Boston cared about that. Even though in the papers I'm seeing like the Red Sox got fleeced and blah blah. Listen, you got a guy in your organization like that who's not a team player. I mean, if I owned the organization, I would have done the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The day when John Henry goes out there and he told them to go eat shit, right?
Yeah.
That was the day he was going. He was gone. Simple as that. And I think they got a great return for him. You don't get anything for guys like that. In football, what do you get? A 7th round pick to pick up the money? That's it. All you get in baseball. I can't think of any. The last couple of trades like that, not many happen. No one picks up big salary guys. Chris Sale, what did we get in return?
But we ate most of that contract too. Joe, you talked about this. You talked about it. You said because we talked about trading Devers, guys. We talked about it, and you said they're going to take that whole contract, we're getting a bunch of broken bats back.
Yeah, Joe, you said we'd have to give Duran just so that they
would get rid of Story. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. But
we actually got something we actually got something.
Yes, I want to think
we thought we were going to have to give something.
Yeah.
Yes.
The other one I can remember that trading a big money guy, it doesn't happen much. No one wants these guys. these long-term contracts. Giancarlo Stanton, the Yankees have regretted that every day since then, but they didn't give up much to get him. That the Marlins wanted to dump that salary, which was huge back then.
Joe, that's a great comparison, and they're both DHs. And nobody wants to pay DHs any more than seriously like $15-16 million at tops. They were having to pay Devers double that.
I laugh at the people who say, "Oh, he's going to play first base for the Giants." What? The Giants aren't stupid. They're not. He couldn't play third base. He was the worst third baseman in the major leagues for years and years. And then you're going to put him in a new position. I mean, you're begging for trouble if you do that.
Right, Timmy, what you're begging for, and Joe, the great point. Joe's really on tonight, isn't he, Timmy?
He is.
Tim got me all wound up.
But what you're begging for is if you put him in a position right now, you can bet he's going to pull a hamstring or something. Oh my God, you're abs right.
And that would not tweak his conscience one bit to pull us out.
No.
You know? Oh, I feel it. I feel the pain.
Yeah.
Oh, your MRI's clean. Oh, but it hurts. It hurts. You know.
Look,
The hips again.
The hips.
The irony is the Giants owe Devers more than the Padres owe Xander, and we thought Xander was the worst deal in the history of baseball.
But at least the Giants are going to get like 2 or 3 years out of a great hitter. He's a top 5 lefty in the major leagues, left-handed hitter. No ifs, ands, or buts.
But
they're going to get a couple of years out of him.
I mean,
and that division is so competitive. I bet you the 4 best teams in baseball are in that division.
No, but look,
he can't hit. He can hit. We got to give him.
Yes, but he can't hit. Look, he can't hit lefties. He seriously cannot hit lefty. And it's a question now. Remember, he goes through months where he can't hit a fastball past 92 miles an hour.
And also,
that's so strange.
You know, he's a guy who will just check out mentally.
He will
just check out.
Yeah,
whatever. You know,
he's not the same player. We watched the Devers a couple years back. He was analyzing each pitch. He would step out. You know, he would hit himself and go. This is a guy now here. He's more than happy to take 3 pitches right down the Broadway.
But he's funny now. Remember, he used to swing at anything. Now, I think he gets more walks than anyone in the league.
Look, but again, bottom line is he's a DH, and nobody wants to pay you if you want to spend $30 million.
I agree. You'd like to get a halfway ball player is all you're getting with the DH. It's not playing the field for you.
Joe, you said you liked what we got in return. I mean,
not that I like that we got anything. It was amazing.
Okay, all right.
Look,
there is one prospect, right? They're thinking the kid might be okay.
Prospects.
Harrison might be lefties are always valuable. You know, we all like, and Harrison's a lefty. He was a top 100 prospect at one time.
He was 26 going into the 2024 season.
And the other kid
only Scott would know that.
Yeah. And Tibbs is a legit. Tibbs was drafted one spot behind Braden Montgomery in the draft 2 years ago. So he's a legitimate prospect. So they got 2 prospects. You know, people don't talk about one thing they did. They did eat that Hicks contract.
Yeah.
The 3 years, $11 million. They got this Jordan Hicks, who was supposed to be a pretty good pitcher at one point, but he's got 3 years and $11 million left, and he's a reliever type. Hopefully, they get some protection out of him. And then the other guy they got, they're not going to get anything out of Bayo. He's just a lottery ticket.
You know, pitching these days, like you throw it against the wall and see what sticks, kind of thing. You know?
Yeah, but the lefties, like Joe said, are very valuable. And this is a lefty who can throw 97. All of a sudden, if they figure it out, you got something there.
Yeah, in almost all the sports, left-handers have a huge advantage, but especially in baseball.
So why is Breslow catching so much heat?
A lot of people were Devers fans.
But did you see? I think who wrote Gasper today about another Red Sox being cheap and they should be spending more money article today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is kind of weird. This is usually they turn on the player, but they're actually turning on management on this point. This was, you couldn't predict
Yeah,
it.
like the Sox were trying to get out of the money. See, this is one time I will give Henry a pass where he, I always go back to the owner. I don't think this was a salary dump. I think this was a personality dump.
Yeah,
Agreed.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But also they wanted to get rid of the salary.
But getting rid of the salary is a
Well,
bonus.
that was a cherry on top. But
Yeah.
I think more so like if he wasn't such an asshole, I think they would have happily paid him to go on hitting 280 and 30 home runs and 110 RBIs. You know what I mean? I don't think they had an issue with paying him. But that was a bonus that they got out of that money.
Yeah, but I don't think he was a favorite.
We got 3 guys coming up. Okay, four, right? We can't have Devers infecting them.
No,
right?
That's what he was doing. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Hey, this is how we do it. Okay, it's like when my brother used to go to a job, and he'd put 12 plugs in the first day. He's an electrician. Do it 2 days in a row. The third day, come here, kid, play. We do 2 plugs a day.
Don't kill the job, right, Joe?
Don't kill the job, Hey, kid, come here. Don't let the manager push you around. They need you more than you need them. Okay, you can sign any way you want.
Yeah, that's exactly true. Look, but let's take it one step further about the meeting with Henry and Breslow in Kansas City. After that meeting, Devers starts ripping into Breslow. And if you remember when we talked about it after me, I said, you rip into the general manager, he's going to trade your ass as soon as he can. And that's exactly what he did.
We talk about Henry going up. Henry was probably sweet as pie with him, right? Sat down and said, come on, hey, buddy, come on, pal. We love you in Boston. You're an institution here in Boston. And, the team, we really need you. Your teammates need you. And do you think you could give first base a try?
First base, too. First base.
You'd really be helping me out as a friend, my wife would love to see you at first base. Often spoke about you playing first base. But I'm sure he put the sugar on it. You know what I mean?
Of course he did.
And there was just that. Go F yourself.
I know. That's when he learned how to speak English.
That
moment to tell him to fuck off in English.
Yeah.
But, Jim, I want to go back to another point you said about the lack of defense of the players. The Spanish players stick together. They always stick together. And they look, you see that documentary. They eat in separate tables.
Yeah.
The white guys. There wasn't, and there's Spanish players on that team. Not one Spanish player said in defense of Devers.
I already gave you the Duran example, as one of the Spanish players right there. But no one, the lack of not even saying, geez, he was a good friend or a good teammate, we're sorry to see him go, or even sorry to see his bat go. No one is sorry to see him go. No one has said a word in his defense or in praise of him in any way, shape. Usually you get a few flowers thrown your way on your way out the door,
And Corey didn't exactly throw the laudits his way either. I mean, no, he had to go. And you're right that they got 2 legitimate prospects, whether they develop or not. That's pretty damn good. And now here's the caveat that we talked about in our text thread. They got to take that money that they saved, and they have to put that toward new players.
Yeah.
Yeah, or buying developmental players, something that put it towards the future. Now that you've given the past,
developmental players, I want them to spend it on a star.
Yeah,
give me a star.
Who's coming out?
They did that last year.
But whoever,
that's where Russ always knows who's going to be like the big free agent.
No, Tucker's the big one. Kyle Tucker is the big one, whether he gets the free agency or not. But he's an outfielder, and you're Cloud. But you also can trade for a guy who has a big contract too, and Breslow suggested that. But again, what's different than before the season? They signed Bregman. They spent money. They signed Bueller. They spent money. They traded for Crochet, and then they gave him big money. So they are spending money. You can't say
They
the
brought up
Celtics-
Campbell and gave him big money.
You know, the bread went in, and they signed Crochet. That shows they're ready to do business now. Again.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So
So I'm not going to bust their chops about getting rid of his salary one bit. I don't know why I'm seeing so much of it in the papers.
Well, look,
or in the media. You know, I don't know why I'm seeing that.
because the media was afraid that they weren't going to be able to say anything about sports until the Messiah came during training camp. They were very concerned. Now they have a nice winning streak. Endeavors got traded. Perfect. Fills up the month of June.
Yeah,
And they've got the hot stove league should be heating up. The professor mentioned earlier this week about how the Athletic had Jaron Duran is the #1 trade target by the teams in the major leagues.
Oh my God!
But there were also 3 other Red Sox who are considered prime targets that everyone in the major leagues, especially the contenders, want. Abreu was #7 on that list.
No, they're not trading Abreu. That's ridiculous. But Abreu,
but he's a target. He's something everyone wants.
I mean, of course, they could
Gold Glove outfielder.
He's a
Under
second-year
control
player.
for 4 years.
Yo, they're not trading up Abreu.
I agree.
Yeah,
Aroldis Chapman was
Chapman is one who would go.
every contender would want. And who was that? Oh, Bueller.
Bueller. Oh, good. They can have
to a contender. Get rid of him. He's
also Justin Wilson would be a good one if we're. But I'm not.
I only looked at the top 20. You know, when the professor mentioned that in the text thread, you know, I looked it up on the Athletic, and I was surprised to see that the Red Sox have so many guys that are extremely desirable by the rest of them.
Yeah, but that would suggest that they're sellers, and they right now
they don't have to. They don't have to be. You can be buyers too with it. That if you've got a trade chip like that, you can maybe get someone really good that you would like to have. Get the next Crochet.
Something's up with Duran. He's been hitting pitifully, but we mentioned about his fielding. You know, he dropped a fly ball last night too. He looks very shaky out there, like physically shaky.
He's not focused like he used to be. And you know, he would track a ball. I mean, he never got a good break on the ball. Never has, never will. But his speed would always make up for it, and he'd be in good position to make the play. Now he's always out of position. I don't know what it is. He's always 2 steps to the right or 2 steps to the left, or he's too far forward and has to jump or dive for the ball. He's always a couple steps away from where he's supposed to be.
Timmy, by trading Duran, are you giving up on the season?
Yes.
If we're taking prospects, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, we're trading him for a good pitcher.
Yeah. But you know, again, no team is
no one is
you anybody on the current roster who's contributing
because they want to win this
year.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone's giving no one's giving up a good pitcher if they have their sights on a good postseason.
Yeah.
I would say, but I don't know if it's time to throw in the towel, Scott. You know what I mean?
No. Look, right now, if the season ended, they'd be in the wild card.
Yeah, and we know anything can happen.
You have to go for it, especially
when you got a guy like Crochet that would win the wild card game for you. Yeah,
that's John Henry's view now. Pay as little as kind of pay as little as you can and get into the playoffs, and then roll the dice. Right? I mean, that's what happened when they won it last. Right? They didn't really have a great team last time they won the World Series.
No, 18.
No, not
the
World Series.
13.
The one before that.
Yeah, 13. Yeah, 18. Yeah. There was a
power. 13. Everything Dombrowski did turned into gold. It was like this, like Breslow's this year. Remember, every guy he picked up off the scrap heap became an all-star.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah, Mike Napoli, guys like that.
Yeah.
Oh my God! And then
the first baseman.
Pierce was in 18 though. Pierce was fantastic.
Oh yeah, remember Pierce? I mean,
My God, this guy was a journeyman of all journeymen, and every time up he hit a home run.
Even like Kiki Hernandez, even though they didn't get far, I mean, he turned out to God Almighty on earth. He turned into Babe Ruth for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
ALCS, though it just never felt real because
no.
Yeah, he turned into a pumpkin.
But he was the best player on the planet for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, right?
He set every record for the playoffs as far as extra base hits and batting average. And no one.
But
there should be like an asterisk next to his name, like he made it. He sold his soul to the devil.
But no, he's been like that in the playoffs for the Dodgers every year too. He makes big plays in the playoffs. He's a playoff kind of guy.
Yeah,
but
nobody hit the ball harder for 2 weeks. Like physically, I was afraid for the people in the monster seats that they were going to get injured or killed. He was hitting that ball so hard.
Every time he get up, you expected a home run.
Yeah,
like every time he get up, it was the craziest thing. I don't ever remember seeing anyone get that hot ever.
Oh my God, just rockets every time.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. But again, nobody mentions that season. It's so weird because we think, okay, it's been a shit show since 18.
Well, because I look at it as a bad thing, Scott.
Because we still got there. It is still in the book.
Justified Henry's view that I could throw a crappy team out there and still make it to the ALCS.
No,
Heim kept selling guys off.
That validated Henry's new philosophy on spending.
No question.
Which was the worst thing that could have happened.
He's engaged now, guys. I mean, that he went to Kansas City to talk to that fat fuck shows that he cares now.
Why, Scott? Does he have more free time on his hands?
Well, soon he's gonna be my walking buddy. One more time I see him. One more time, and we'll all be walking together.
Scotty will be a couple pounds heavier going to the pastry place.
Oh, I know, right? This little scarecrow of a man, and I can't match him. Oh my!
You can fatten him up with all those nice
my
buttery
face is gonna be like this, all blown up. But I'm gonna have John Henry stories. We're gonna go party.
He eats them and then throws them up just so he won't gain weight. What do you
think? That's for another show. That's for another
little
show.
bulimia going on there.
Yeah. All right, boys. We're gonna go to the let's go to the New England Patriots. Look, it's happening soon, guys. You can feel it. There's a ray. There's a sun. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and it's coming more toward Gillette Stadium. And it's called the Messiah. He's coming very soon to a town near you. The hype.
Or is it called?
Who's that? Stephon Diggs?
Or is it called Jets fan syndrome?
No,
Jets, we had a dynamite off season, man. Watch out, we're coming.
Even we're going to be 500 this
for the last 3 years. We had a good draft. This is the year.
When are you going to stop saying that? When are you going to start? You see, no, I don't look.
You notice the color of the shirt that Scotty's wearing.
Yeah,
Jim.
we got a new coach and we got another first high pick. We're gonna. This is the year.
Scotty's got his green and white on. He's full-fledged Jets fan.
And Todd, we all know Todd, but I don't know if those negotiations are ongoing.
Well, after the show, I'm going to interview with Todd for the GM position. So get this going on. Look,
I got to see it before I get too excited, Scott.
I told you that the Messiah year 2, 2025 would be the biggest star in Boston sports, and it's coming. It's happening.
I'll be more than happy to jump on that bandwagon.
I mean,
I got to see it.
I just worry about him where he had the 2 concussions last year.
I know.
Going forward, that's not a good sign.
Joe, back in the day, that these guys, every football player gets 2 a year.
Yeah.
It's Stephon Diggs.
They just document them now.
Stephon Diggs. Hold on.
Oh, Russell's coming in.
Right. Stephon Diggs. We'll wait till Russell before I ask this question.
The professor.
Russ.
Hello, guys.
Oh,
Russell.
good to
Oh
see
my
you.
The
God.
voice of reason.
And then,
There you go, Russell.
You got some good color over there in the old country.
well, when you're half Italian, Joe McLaughlin, things happen. You get a little sun, and
What part did you go to, Russ?
we
Piedmont,
went
wasn't it?
to Milan and Piedmont, and then to the coast south of Piedmont, so northern Italy.
You love it?
It's the old country, Timmy,
Yeah.
for me.
Did you go to
Yeah,
what?
they're all
Did you
blondes
go
and
to any?
redheads up there. None of
You know,
that
any-
Sicilian look.
Yeah,
You're married man, Joe.
Blondes,
Did
right?
you go to any ancestral homes or anything like that?
No, that was the last time. I found my grandfather's home last time. We're from the south of Italy.
Okay.
So I found his home the last time we were there. This time it was all new. It's all new.
Beautiful. Great.
Well,
Right.
you're 10 rested and ready. There we go. I'm
I
glad
am.
say
So we've already talked about Devers, I'm assuming.
Yes.
we did talk.
Well, you
Yeah,
noticed that they waited till you were out of the country to trade him.
Oh, I know.
Our
I could hear
consensus. Our consensus was good riddance, Russell.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same. I don't have a huge issue with trading him. I wish they got more back, but
Well, Russ, the argument was Joe was saying last week that we might have had to throw Duran in just for someone to grab
Right.
his salary, right?
dump
So
the
to
salary.
not really have to give anything up and to actually get even some scraps back for him without having to carry his salary might be considered a win.
I just hate the fact that we keep ending up in these situations where we're trading our star players for 50 cents on the dollar over and over again.
But Russ, I don't think this was a salary dump. I think this was an asshole dump.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
We did it one time, and I mean it was a terrible time, and the worst time, the Mookie Betts thing. And you can't even compare this. But we've been
Chris
talking
Sale
about Devers getting traded for a year or two. This is not it wasn't a surprise.
Well, Chris Sale was a salary dump. We got pennies on the dollar for him, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, that's a totally different story. You weren't getting any production.
But he's a guy who's performing really well, who was a salary dump.
Well, now he's on the trading block. The Braves are dying to get rid of him
But like a half,
because they know he's going to disappear in the second half of the season.
Right.
we ate half that contract that last year. We ate half of it, so it wasn't a complete salary dump. I just felt like they just were tired of looking at him.
Yeah.
I know,
they
but
got sick of watching him walk
Sucks.
around the house.
situations where they're tired of looking at guys they're paying a lot of money. I just don't want that to happen anymore.
Yeah.
No,
Well, you see it all the time. Like I'm sure they're looking at Xander that way out in San Diego.
For sure. Yeah, we dodged that bullet.
The Yankees have been looking at Giancarlo Stanton that way ever since he put a Yankees uniform on.
Look, you're never going to get over the stink of Mookie Betts. That's always a wound that's going to will open.
That's just like Babe Ruth, for no net. It's that level.
But to compare Devers to Betts is ridiculous. It's not anywhere close. I mean, this is a guy who had decided that at a young age, with 9 years left in his contract, that he was going to be a fat DH the rest of it.
Yep.
And he ate himself out of third base, so they had to go pay a guy $40 million to replace him.
Yep.
So
boy, isn't Meyer a revelation at third base? He is a great third. He's Arenado-esque.
Yeah, that's what Story said. Oh, he's fantastic.
Oh yeah, I like what Trevor says for once.
Yeah,
he's going to play at second base in about 3 weeks, though, right?
Yeah.
There, Meyer.
I mean, look.
But at third base, Russ, while you were away, oh man, he was making plays. Remember that one inning, 2 plays that no one else on the team could have made.
Not even Bregman would have made those plays, and he makes them so easy.
Effortless.
Yeah, and he's just whistling on the way to the dugout. This guy's a special player defensively.
Hey, I got him at Rookie of the Year at 40-1. Let's just keep it up,
Nice.
Marcelo.
Yeah, because again, these things are horse races. You never know how all of a sudden, he could take off and the kid Wilson out of the A's could, get hurt or shit the bed, and all of a sudden, how much? What, $20?
Yeah, exactly that.
There you go. So there you go.
Well, that Wilson's got that catch we took away the home run and then came back with it. That's everyone's going to be looking at that video all season long.
All right, Russell, we'll catch you up now. I had said before, you guys, of course, ridiculed me to no end. I said, come 2025, in the fall of 2025, the number one athlete in Boston will be the Messiah, and it is trending that way.
Well, that to me, Scotty, that means that you like put a hex on Jason Tatum to blow Achilles. So congratulations for
Yeah.
that's great.
You may as well have gone out there with a knife and slit his Achilles.
Mazel tov. That's awesome. Great job.
Oh, no, not true. It was clearly trending that way.
Yeah. What will you do in order to win the Jason Varitek bet? You kill a man for that? Like, will you
Kill a
like
man.
split Alex Score's throat or something? Like,
Well, but so you don't deny I'm right.
you're right because Jason Tatum blew his Achilles tendon.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, this shit happens on the way to the
Oh,
play.
shit.
Yeah,
Right. That's
Look,
where we're going with it.
there has to be people who go
So,
down.
so he's
Joe,
winning
Joe.
this by default because
Hey,
shit
Joe.
happens.
Yeah, but you're
Joe-
agreeing that he's going to be the number one.
Joe, I just need to ask Joe a question. Joe, remind me how many games Drake May won last year as the starting
One,
quarterback?
Russell, I brought up the fact,
one.
Joe mentioned that Scott's wearing his Jets green because he thinks like a Jets fan now.
Yeah.
We had a good draft, so
Wow.
we're excited for the season.
Oh,
You
see
know,
you leave
we
for
got some
a
good
week,
free
that's
agents. And
bad. See,
we haven't done anything, but we had a good draft. So
Okay, so you guys, no, seriously, I don't want to hear anything that you said, anything positive about the Patriots. You don't, the whole season, you guys, why don't you guys?
I already bet the over on the Patriots season.
hey,
bet
I
they
hope
will.
they do great. You know,
Yeah, I
But
bet they will.
I got to see it before I get all excited. You know?
Russ will be
They
rooting for
have such a
tank.
crappy schedule. You got to get over 8.5.
Russ will be rooting for a tank second quarter, first game.
No, he won't. He bet the over.
Scotty, if the only way I'm rooting for 10, if they're 4-9, I'm going to root for them to lose every game the rest of the way.
For
I
what?
guarantee you.
But so we can get the 8th pick in the draft.
We can get the 4th pick in the draft and get a freaking left tackle that we really, really still
What are
need.
you talking about? We just got one. What are you talking about? What's Will Campbell?
We'll see. We'll see.
You've already given up on the 4th pick in the draft, and you want another fourth pick?
No, I'm just looking for
The
the
first
best
pick.
players.
And what
Joe
did
and
you start saying about quarterbacks who are coming out
Yeah,
there?
we'll move Campbell over to right tackle.
Yeah, exactly.
Timmy, you gonna help me at all?
He's
I'm
the
new-
one who's
I'm-
called
I'm-
you the Jets.
I'm Sweden on it, Switzerland on this.
What are you, Switzerland? Seriously,
Sweden, Switzerland.
Drake May is a special talent.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah.
I hope he wins.
Scott, I just don't know if
I-
we're put enough around him yet.
I hope he wins more than 8.5 games. Put
I-
Yeah, me
I'd like
too.
to see. I'd like to see improvement. I mean, we did get a good running back. I'd like to see the team get a little deeper than they are right now.
Okay, so you guys know Patriots history better than anyone. What this season? How does this compare to another season in the past? Is this year?
All right. What I'm hoping to
year
see,
two of
Scott, what I'm
Bledsoe?
hoping to see is with Bledsoe. We knew that one year when you could tell this team was on the rise. That's when we all got excited. We had been in the dumps for years. We got Bledsoe. It might have been his second
was that
year.
95?
No, the first year he went 5-11, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's Bledsoe's second year.
the second
Yeah.
year,
Yeah.
we were competing, and we were, even when we lost games, we were in them, and you could tell that this team was going places.
What was their record?
That's what I want to see.
What was
year
it?
was that? I don't know.
Um,
What year was Bledsoe drafted?
95?
No, before that, I think.
No, right. 95 was the Super Bowl.
96 was the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so was it the year before the Super Bowl, maybe?
No,
2
92?
years before. But whatever, you guys remember that year. There was a vibe.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Bledsoe was the man. He was obviously like looking like, he
Patriots.
he
So
was on his way to being a great quarterback.
in Bledsoe's second year, they finished 10-6.
Yeah.
And they lost to the Browns in the wild card round.
Right. Belichick's Browns. Yeah.
I think put your finger on it. This is Bledsoe's second year.
Yes.
And 9 or 10 games this year.
Isn't that still the last time the Cleveland Browns won a playoff game?
Well, I'm sure. Belichick probably put some amazing defensive plan in there to beat them.
I remember.
Well, he'd pick on a young quarterback.
No,
That
wait,
would be-
isn't that the game? Didn't Bledsoe get hurt and Zolak was in there?
No, they lost 20-13, and Zolak wasn't.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well,
But
we all felt the vibe that year. Am I right? You guys all
Yeah,
remember?
Well, yeah,
that
they
feeling,
became
right?
a playoff team. Where just 2 years before they were the worst team in football,
So this
which
is
is
very
kind
similar.
of the situation you're hoping to be in this.
Yes.
Well, we were actually the worst team in football, Joe. We just fucked it up in the last game, but we were the worst team in football. But it's very similar. So we're not doing predictions right now, but it feels like a 10-7 season, wild card.
And
That
as
would
we've
be
seen
good.
with Jaden Daniels last year in the Commanders, what a turnaround. They went into the second round of the playoffs.
And it wasn't just Bledsoe on that team.
No,
it was the
AFC
players.
Championship, Joe.
It wasn't just Bledsoe in '97 too. Is that when Ty Law showed up and
Ben Coates.
we were was Willie McGinnis we were starting to put some players on the field.
Yeah, McGinnis was drafted back in those days.
Yeah. So this is very similar. So you can see a pattern.
Brewski.
And they're similar quarterbacks, but Bledsoe says that he feels like the Messiah is very similar, but one thing Messiah can run, he couldn't.
Oh yeah, much more athletic. But the size is similar.
It's a different sport now, right? I mean, you can't touch the quarterbacks. There's much more room on the field than there ever was.
Here's the Patriots '97 lineup: Bruce Armstrong. I'll just read the star names: Drew Bledsoe, Vincent Brisby, Troy Brown, Teddy Bruschi, Keith Byers, Chris Canty, Ben Coates, Todd Collins.
Yeah, they had some solid players. And
Yeah, Brewski didn't even play back then.
Terry
He didn't play
Glenn,
till Belichick came.
Ted Johnson, Ty Law, Max
Wow.
Lane,
Yeah.
Curtis Martin, Willie McGinnis, Dave Meggett,
names. Yeah. I don't know if
Chris Slade.
we don't have any.
There was some players on that team that were part of the great teams,
Yeah, but obviously this rookie class has got to really contribute. How many?
Well, I think there's no question that this almost the entire rookie class will contribute because they've gotten rid of everyone that was their competition, so they're going to necessarily have to play.
I mean, it's Hall of Famers on that team, right?
Yep.
Russell, how many starters have to come out of this draft?
3, right? Like, don't you figure, you need 3.
Yeah, Will
Good
Campbell
draft
has
like
to
that.
be one.
You draft at the top of every round, right? So you should get 3 to 4 starters out of it,
Yep.
right?
And throw the kicker in as the 5th.
They throw the kicker in as the 5th, yeah.
Absolutely, or it's a complete fail. But look, if you're looking for a left tackle come the 26th draft,
I disagree with that, Scotty. Like, I think, look, if you end up in the top 10, top 15, and there's a tackle sitting there, like you draft another one. Like, you cannot have enough great offensive linemen. Like,
especially tackles. They're so rare.
Absolutely.
Build a monster offensive line, a monstrous offensive line.
You literally just do nothing but invest in the offensive line for them.
And then you could really give the Messiah room to operate.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
guys, if you're looking for a left tackle in the first round next year, that means that Will Campbell failed.
Well, maybe he's not a failure and you just want to move him to right because you have
Maybe
a better
one of them was right
prospect
tackle.
left.
Maybe he's Logan Mankins and he's the best guard that the Patriots have ever had. That's not
Kick him inside.
John Hannah.
Yeah, I know, but still,
The Hog was a
picking
guy.
the draft, you wouldn't have drafted
Well,
him.
let's see how it pans out. Maybe he's a great left tackle, but he'll be a spectacular guard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care if I just want him to be a great player. Put him in the best position on the offensive line. It's not
It fits him and you.
Yeah, maybe he's really good at left tackle, but he's a Hall of Fame guard.
Yeah.
But there's value. You're talking about it in baseball terms. I mean, starting pitching and relief.
I think
I
that
mean, you're not going to draft a guy fourth to be a relief pitcher.
I don't agree with that. Like Logan Mankins was a great freaking Patriot. He was a guard.
But he was basically a second round pick. That's all they had to get the best guy they could.
Matter if he's the pick that the Patriots had.
Yeah.
Like that was the pick the Patriots had, and there was no one better for them at that point. And if the pick that the Patriots have next year is number 12 and the best player on the board is a left tackle, then pick the left tackle.
Yeah, let's put it this. He was the best offensive lineman in the draft.
Yeah.
So they took him.
I need him to be. Then he
guard, tackle, center. It didn't matter. He was the best offensive lineman.
He costs you nothing right now. He doesn't cost you much money.
Well,
yeah, rookie contracts are nothing the first 4 years.
Hey, Scotty, I hope he's a spectacular left tackle. I hope he is. You know.
Yeah.
Well,
but according to the metrics, the odds are against him.
Well,
at that position.
Is that the number one story going into the training camp?
I think the offensive line is the number one story. I think they're in decent shape everywhere else at this point.
Yeah.
I think it's the wide receiver room. There's nothing proven anywhere in that room. You know, with Diggs coming off an ACL, so there's no proven performer in that room.
You know, I'd like a real workhorse. I know we got that a good running back in the draft. I'd like to see like a 6'3", 265-pound guy we can throw out there now and then.
Wow. Okay.
You want King Henry, is what you want.
Yeah, that's what you want. You want Derrick Henry. Yeah.
Yeah. Earl Campbell.
Is he available?
If you want LeGarrette,
I think they'll be fine. They run Ramondre on first down and then Henderson on second and third because it gives you so much, flexibility where he can.
If you're ever looking for 15 minutes of amusement, go on YouTube and look up Derrick Henry's high school highlights.
Yeah.
I think he literally scored a touchdown every time he touched the ball. He was full grown.
I wouldn't want to get in his way.
He was
like Campbell was that way.
He was the size he is now as a senior in high school.
So
it's unbelievable.
They went to they had mini camp, and then before they left for 5 weeks, Rabel was yelling at all of them, saying, "Do the right things in 5 weeks." That is true. Don't get arrested. Don't whatever. Don't get stabbed. Don't kill anybody for the next 5 weeks. That is truly sums up the NFL.
Well, you see, Shedeur Sanders has got bagged going 100 miles an hour for the second time in the last couple weeks.
In a week. That
100 miles an hour. They take your license away, don't they? At 100 miles an hour.
Well, it was only 91 miles an hour last week. Maybe they
100. I think that's like a criminal charge at 100. I don't know what state he was in when he did it. Different states have different.
It was Ohio.
I think in Massachusetts that's called reckless driving, and I had
Bob Kraft to get him out of it too.
A person very, very close to me had to deal with something. Like
it would say 61 and a 60 if Bob Kraft got it.
I know you'd be able to walk into Logan Airport with multiple guns loaded. And
I wouldn't put that past Shedeur. I really wouldn't.
What's that?
His father's got to be so disappointed in the maturity level.
Absolutely lunatic thing like that past that kid. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, well, the Browns just wasted a 4th round pick. They're worse franchise than the Jets. They've never been to a Super Bowl. Never. No,
like I just said, the last time they won a playoff game was that one that Bill Belichick coached against the Patriots in the 90s.
It's embarrassing. All right, but
didn't they fire him shortly thereafter?
Yeah, because he didn't want to go to Baltimore.
We're gonna go to the NBA. Final game tonight, possibly game 6. Geez, you can get 200 plus 250, I think, for the Pacers.
Really?
What, to win the series or the game?
No, just to win tonight.
Let me look at it.
With Halliburton injured, I think it's going to be awfully tough.
Oh yeah, that's a big
win.
That's a biggie.
But he's gonna play, right?
Yeah, but he played the other night. He didn't look that good. I mean, he missed every shot he took.
Yeah. And McConnell burns himself out. He plays at 100 miles an hour.
Plus,
He can't play more than
170.
20 minutes.
Plus 170.
Oh wow, that went down because it was like 220.
People probably were jumping on the 220.
Spread's only 6.
Oh, is that right?
I mean, the pace. I don't know. I don't know which way this one's going to go. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Pacers pulled it out. I wouldn't be surprised if the Pacers pulled it out, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if KC pulled it out
too. What's your thoughts about this series, guys?
I think it could. I wouldn't be surprised if either team won tonight.
Look, I think Oklahoma City's been the best team in basketball all year.
I found this on the web for this series, guys. Check it out.
Thank you, Siri.
Oklahoma City's been the best team in basketball all year. They're going to win. Like that. That's what happens in the NBA. Typically, the best team wins it. The Celtics were the best team in the NBA last year. They won it. Right? You go back. That typically is what happens. Which
it
is good.
Yeah. It's not like the NHL where a team can kind of surprise you and
Only gets hot and you can win a title in the NBA.
How about Marshawn pulling it off, huh?
Unbelievable.
He looked great. He
He had a shot at getting the Conn Smythe.
Yeah. If that guy hadn't, lit the lamp.
Bennett was even better though.
But if there was a number 2, I think he was number 2 on the list, probably for MVP, right?
Best trade deadline pickup ever?
Maybe, Russ. I mean, he won an overtime game, right?
We're getting a first round pick for it because they went.
I know, but I just still
But
think
2028.
a trade deadline pickup do more than John in any sport.
And he did nothing during the regular season. It was only once the playoffs started that he came alive.
I saw in an interview, it sounded like it took him time to get his legs back. We're talking about.
Oh, remember he was injured too.
Scotty.
He didn't even play.
1 second, I gravitate the conversation.
I know what the heck we're talking about. The hockey.
I brought it right to hockey the second you
go fix the sun again.
We started talking about Marshawn.
Yeah. Look, that's great for Brad Marchand. This is what he was a great Bruin. What do we care that they won the Stanley Cup?
I don't just root for laundry. I root for people, Scott. I love Brad. I love Brad Marchand.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm happy for him. I'm very happy for the guy to win it. Why not? I mean,
I wonder if anyone will give him a contract off of that.
Well, that's what. I mean, he looked like a kid out there. I mean, the whole
He's 37.
I think the big question is, will he go back to the Bruins?
That's a good question, Scott.
Will
he? I've got a question for Russ now that we have him back here. What did you think of that Lakers sale? That's way above any NFL team.
Did I hear 11 billion?
10, I think.
10.1.
Yeah,
and they don't own the arena. They lease their renters just like the Celtics.
Are the Celtics kicking themselves in the ass right now?
Yeah, Wick wants it. I think when you do the math on it, remember the Celtics' final sale is going to be between 7 and 7.5 billion, like the second stage, their final valuation. And I'm wondering if that's really what's going on with the Lakers. The other thing is there's a great conspiracy theory about, how all of a sudden Luka, who's one of the assets in the entire NBA, ends up in LA, and 6 months later, LA gets sold for $10 billion.
Yeah.
Which then sets the price for the expansion franchises.
Oh wow, right. Oh
my God. And how good does A-Rod look? He bought the Minnesota Timberwolves last year for 1.5.
Oh, also I just want to mention, and what the Mavericks, who have like a 1% chance of getting the number 1 pick, get the number 1 pick and replace a white star with another white star.
Let's put it this way. If you were going to move chess pieces around the board, optimize what happens to the NBA, which is, again, these expansion franchises, the price just went up. You would do exactly what just happened. You would move Luka Doncic to LA. The Dallas would get the first pick, get Cooper Flag to replace that. Right?
You got to pay him back.
And then you'd sell the LA Lakers for whatever the hell it is, but it's more than $6.5 billion, which is what the Celtics got or whatever. it's all coming up roses for the NBA right
Yeah.
now.
And
John
that was
Henry
very
is not
easy.
happy when he wants to buy that Las Vegas franchise that now just went from just a couple of years ago they were talking 3 billion. Now
What
they're
a,
talking 10
what a
billion.
conspiracy theory.
But that's an easy conspiracy. Nico
Yeah.
Harrison, trade Luca for peanuts. Okay.
And we'll get to the number one pick.
Accountant, put the ball for the Mavericks in this thing, the ping pong ball. Those are 5-minute conversations. I mean,
Plus, he said he gets the number one pick and saves $45 million a year and not paying Luca.
this is not hard. This is not hard. This was not a hard conspiracy. This is going to take a lot of people to do it, right? The Luca trade was the worst trade in the history of sports. You can't argue with that.
No, it was the worst trade ever.
So Russ, do you think it's going to be 10 billion?
It
don't
already, 10 plus.
I think those are funny numbers, Timmy. I think like when you do the math, I don't think it's 10, but
I
like
only heard 11 billion.
no, I mean I heard everything's been saying like 10.1, but I don't think it's really 10.1. I think
Now, do you think that Lakers are a more valuable franchise than the Celtics, just overall?
absolutely.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
I would
Los
agree.
Angeles is a bigger market.
The market's bigger. It's
I mean, Scotty, it's LA's a whole different thing.
Yeah. But now he owns the Dodgers and the Lakers, so
You know,
he
we don't.
he has
I
the
never
sports
realized
network.
I never realized what a pimple Boston is until I go to a big city and I go, oh my God, we're like a hick
I
town.
mean, he owns the Dodgers, the Lakers, the Sparks. His group owns an upcoming F1 team, which is bigger than all these, and Chelsea, the football team.
Wow. Yeah.
But there's still the Kings own that stadium that they play in.
Nobody cares about the Kings. Not one
But
person.
they're the ones that own
Like the Bruins.
the arena.
Right.
Yeah. And nobody cares about the Rams either. They just
No
don't.
one cares about the Chargers for sure.
The Dodgers. It's a Dodgers Lakers town. It really is. What would you consider? I would consider Dodgers number one though in LA.
Oh, only because they're world champions now.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty close. It's got to be head to head, right? It's very close between Lakers.
Yeah. I mean, I've never seen an area so sad than when Kobe Bryant died, and I was there then. I've never seen something like that. You would literally thought the king of the country died. I
Yeah.
mean, it was pretty incredible. So the Lakers are huge there, and again, everybody's got to be happy in the NBA, right? You said, freaking A-Rod. My God, he's got a horseshoe up his fucking sorry ass.
$1.5 million for a perennial playoff team right now.
So now that franchise has got to be minimum 4 or 5, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
He made like 3 or 4 billion overnight. He made that deal like 5 years ago, and the guy stalled, but they took him to court and he had to sell it for 1.5 to them.
1.5 billion he got an NBA team for.
Yeah. The NFL team, what did the Commanders just go? They just went for like 6 point something, didn't they?
No, they were south of the Celtics. The Celtics were for a brief moment the most the biggest sale of all time.
Now, Russ, out of those franchises you just said that guy owns, which is the most valuable? You said the F1 might be more valuable than all of them.
In F1, you own an
F1 is owned by one conglomerate. That's the number one.
Cadillac is getting an F1 and this guy owns it, and that's a huge deal. I mean, huge deal. Holy smokes.
F1 is the number one sports
in the world.
Really?
And then the guy Kronk is number 2. And then Fenway Sports Group is number 3.
Yeah.
And Timmy, they just have it's one driver for the team. He's the guy. I mean,
2 drivers.
But I thought the main guy though is usually the one guy.
Yeah, usually
Scotty's favorite, Brad Pitt's going to be in the movie coming up. Yeah, has it opened yet?
It
looks like a good movie.
I was out in Vegas when they were getting ready for the race. I left the day before the race.
Yeah.
Big deal.
And
And then that Chelsea soccer club has to be right up there too, right?
It's a very big
Premier
deal.
League.
Guys, This guy's, I mean, he makes John Henry look like a AAA player, honestly.
What's his name?
Mark Walter, I
Walter.
think.
Yeah.
We got to talk about the Celtics and what Brad Stevens going to do. Who knew you can make deals during the playoffs?
How about that?
The Bain deal. I'm like, they do that.
More than that, Scotty,
Baseball doesn't allow that.
Indiana made a trade 2 days ago.
They did.
Yeah.
They traded a first-round pick 2 days ago.
For who?
They swapped picks. They swapped their first for us.
You can't change the roster in the playoffs.
But who's,
They did a trade 2 days ago.
yeah, who's doing administrative stuff like that when you're still in the? I can't believe it.
The draft is like next week.
Yeah.
That's why I was like waiting for tonight for the holiday deal to drop. I mean,
Yeah,
I was listening that the Brad Stevens is getting knocked out by the deals that he's being offered for Jaylen Brown and Derek White, not for the other guys.
So what trade did Stevens?
what do you mean knocked out in a sense? He's getting a great. They're offering.
They're offering the world for those guys.
No, that's early. I mean, I don't think we know anything. The one thing that you have to give the Celtics incredible credit for,
Quiet.
nothing ever leaks. It
No.
never leaks. It ever. When have you ever heard a leak on the Celtics for the
No.
since?
Oh, just think of the Ime situation. It never showed up.
What trade did Stevens make?
He didn't make any trade.
No, he
Nothing
didn't. Look, you trade Jaylen Brown, then you're giving up on this season, correct?
No, they're not.
Yeah.
They may trade Jaden Brown next year. They're not going to trade him this year.
Yeah.
There's no reason to this year. Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's pretty clear if you trade Holiday and Hauser and you don't take back much, the stuff you take back, you trade half of it, you get under the second apron, you keep Porzingis to see if you can drive his value up, and you could trade him at the deadline to get under the tax. There's no reason to trade KP right now unless someone bowls you over.
well, Kevin Connor, who's Kevin O'Connor, now Yahoo Sports, but his great reputation. He says that KP, Holiday, and Hauser are gone.
Could
I mean,
be.
Could be. The thing that I'm hearing is that, I figured for a while that you'd have to attach a pick to trade Holiday's contract. And evidently more and more stuff I'm listening to, that's not the consensus, that you may not get a lot back for Holiday, but you don't have to pay to trade him.
Yeah. He's got a lot of years left on that contract. When they extended him, he's got like 3 years, I think.
And, just like with the Celtics, he could be the piece
He's the piece, Timmy.
for somebody.
Yeah.
But like Timmy always says, in Brad we trust. He's gonna make the
I
right
do.
move.
Like, I'm not worried. I know, like, if I could pick anyone on the planet to be sitting in that seat right now, that's the guy.
And we're gonna be like, he got that young player, huh?
Okay, I just
How
got
did we get Cooper Flag out of
at a
this?
valuation of $10 billion. I just got a little clicker across my thing here.
Would you trade Jaylen Brown for the #1 pick in the draft, Cooper Flag?
Yeah, but
I would too. I would.
I
You
mean,
have to. It
Could have
makes
bought-
sense financially, future-wise,
The
every
blocky
way.
knee worries me a little bit.
Yeah.
but it's
Well,
not.
Jalen's knee is just a meniscus tear. I mean, that's an easy arthroscopic
Joe,
surgery.
he's getting some miles on him. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I'll take a fresh pony. Thank you very much.
I had that meniscus tear done, and I walked home I was
Well,
walking
mine-
it home that
I
day.
told mine I never even did anything with it. My knees never bothered me again.
All right. Well, we're gonna finish up with the Bruins. 7th pick in the draft. Is that draft this weekend?
I don't know. All I know is it was the craziest ping pong thing I ever saw in my life.
Yeah, I know. They put the balls back in, and then they took some out, and then who the hell knows what they're doing?
Are they delusional enough to think they can compete this year?
No, they're not thinking that they're going to compete. They're competing in the lottery again next year. They know
Well, that's why I don't think Marchand will be coming back. He wouldn't be part of a rebuild.
So is Marco Stroom, is he here for a while? Are we gonna be calling for his head in a year from now?
No.
Stroom?
You know,
Brad Stevens came in to be the rebuilder, and he's still here.
You get 3 years as a coach. I mean, very rare you fire a guy, in the NHL, especially.
So, okay, so with the roster we have now, are we lucky if we go 500?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that. I would say if they go 500 this year, that's a win.
Do you want to go 500? I mean, what?
Well,
Mr. Tankathon, Russ Stevens is going
you're talking to a season ticket holder who likes to resell his tickets, so I hope they go 500.
Well, it's not going to be fun to be. The garden events are not going to be fun. It's winter, so
Oh, I know. They're not going to be premium prices there.
We
Look,
need,
there's
we
gonna be
need
the
stuff, we
hangover
need stuff to do on those cold nights, though.
Well, the hangover for no, it'll be you'll be watching the Super Bowl video of the winning New England Patriots winning the Super Bowl with Messiah as the MVP. So that
I predict in 2 years, not this year.
oh, there we go. All right, we gotta go. That's our show for tonight. I want to thank Russell for being back. Oh my God,
yeah.
so long. I mean, thank
Yeah.
I think he got better looking.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Right. See, I'm not going there. Absolutely. That's between you and you guys can hook up later on. All right, that's our show for tonight. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Thursday night at 7 p.m. for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.